Hi everyone, I'm Luke from the Portishead Chamber of Commerce, which is a local business support group. And one of the things that we encourage is engaging with local businesses in Portishead. So I'm here today with Berkeley Harris from Sandler to find out more about him and Sandler. So Berkeley, good to meet you. Tell us
Hi.
more about Sandler Training, I guess, and who you work with and the kind of sectors, I guess, that you typically help.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. So I think I've been a member of the Portishead Chamber of Commerce for many years, but that dropped at some point. So I've recently joined. So thank you for doing this. So
No problem.
training, so a global training organisation, but we only train in 3 areas. Sales development is probably our shop window. People have known us for that because we're 5 decades in now. So that's the main bit. Organizational excellence. So look at all corners of the business, processes, people, positions. That's a big thing. And that's coupled nicely with leadership and management. It's a pleasure to train that. And I've been doing that now for 7 years. And there's 500 of me worldwide. But I'm over 32 different countries. So here's me in the southwest of England. But I'm part of the global team as well. So non-pandemic times, I'm getting flown around the world to go and train companies, which is an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, of course. Well, so Sandler's obviously quite a large company. It sounds like think sales, for example, is something that probably applies across most industries, to be fair. But are there any particular sectors that you find that yourself working with in particular, or is it generally across the board?
Good question. So sectors really, B2B is a massive push in what we do, and over probably 3 to 4 years, I've seen a lot of B2B to C. That's extremely popular. So direct retail, if there's high ticket items where a sales conversation is happening, then yeah, there's an element of that. So we worked a lot with some car groups, some people selling motorhomes, that sort of thing, where there's an emotional conversation in there. That's good. But yeah, B2B, I would say would be 80% of what we do for sure. Industry-wise, financial services is a big deal. I have a particular vertical market in franchising. That's part of my background. But if you met my clients and look for the portfolio of them, there's a whole array of different industries. So no real set patterns other than those.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. It's interesting you mentioned about how the retail sector seems to be kind of improving, probably as a result of everything that's going on at the moment. Footfall kind of being, absolute, not happening at the moment for obvious reasons. So yeah, interesting to see that you're getting more of that. So, what other jobs have you had? Did you go straight into Sandler? I'm assuming you probably have a bit of a history.
Little bit. Yeah, I've just turned 50. I know people will struggle to believe that. Probably think I'm older. So over the years, I've had numbers of jobs really. I spent 10 years with the Royal Marines, the Royal Marines Commandos, and my training centre that you see me in now. Well, I call it a Zoom studio lately because no one's coming in. All the cameras are set up. So this is why I travel to my training centre. At the moment, there is a troop of Royal Marines staying here, which I'm having good catch-ups with because they're helping out with the pandemic and working in local hospitals. So it's good to see them. So I spent 10 years there, spent time with the fire service. And then before this role, I was a sales director in a medical insurance company. And that's why I'm a northern lad living in the southwest, because that company's based down in Taunton. I didn't want to go all the way down to Taunton. So we've stopped at Portishead, and what a pleasure to live in Portishead. I've been here for 12 years. So lots of things gone on. And because I was a client of Sandler's and we had a look at how it all works, and we got big success from this, our growth rate improved, our retention rate of customers improved. And so 7 years ago, that's where I jumped ship to where I am now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Quite a history then. So it was purely work that sort of made put Portishead on the map for you, I guess, by the sound of it.
Yeah. It was. I was completely blind to. So my hometown's Grimsby, twin town with Saint-Tropez. Okay, honestly, and before Grimsby, I then was living in Nottingham for a short time, and then company in Taunton said, Berkeley, we need you down this direction. So I was just stopping in and around Bristol area, and some magazines, good areas. Oh, Clifton, that looks good. Oh, too expensive. There you go. Okay. And I picked up a new property paper, and it's Portishead. And I went, okay, I heard of the band. And now this was really funny. So I was driving through Portishead about 15 years ago when just the roads were in. I was on the phone to my wife saying, oh, a place called Portishead. It's coastal. I like the coast. There's not much here yet. She went, doesn't sound very attractive. I went, and as I turned the corner, I said, well, there's a big Waitrose here. She went, oh, we'll have a look.
That's hilarious.
That Waitrose has been the best estate agent for Portishead, I think, over the years. Going, well, if a big Waitrose is there, it must be a nice area.
Yeah, well, I watched a program about that specifically. If Waitrose move into an area, it's generally well researched, so it's always a good indicator, to be fair. But I'd imagine you'll have seen Portishead grown a huge amount because you moved here just around the time that they started doing well. Just before, it would have been one of the most economically developed sort of areas in Europe. I remember at one point it was having so much development work done. So
so you're right. Just before, and then when we was going through any recession, downturn times or anything, no, building was still going on in Portishead. They couldn't throw those houses up quick enough.
Yeah.
I mean, laugh. I've said to people for years, every square inch available in Portishead, they're putting houses on it. And we've even built on a roundabout, haven't we? Down the end of High Street, that triangle. There's houses even on a roundabout. Cracky, they couldn't fit them in anywhere else, but they did.
Yeah, they look quite nice, those, to be fair.
Yeah. Lovely.
So I'd imagine over the last 12 years you probably got quite well connected within Portishead. But do you do much business in Portishead? It's obviously quite an important factor here.
Well, do you know what? I think Portishead has a nice problem. Now, outside of pandemic times, if you stood on the A369 watching all the cars leaving Portishead on a Monday morning, and all nice posh executive cars, all going out of town on a Monday morning, all coming back on an evening. So there'll be people live in Portishead, socialise in Portishead, but work in Bristol, somewhere nationally, or work somewhere internationally. So living and socialising is one thing, but a lot of people don't do business in Portishead. I think that's a shame for us because there's lots of cracking businesses in and around the Portishead area.
Absolutely.
Looked around locally. So the shop local for retail shops, but I think we should shop local for business services and business to business elements. So my encouragement for everybody when the pubs open, so I don't know, H&W, Aqua, Sirens, other pubs are available. Make friends locally. You'll be surprised how many business connections there are, and get them to join the chamber and come along to an event. I'm like, I didn't know we had these services available. So
yeah, well, do you know what? This is a great example of one of the problems and one of the whole things that the chamber tries to address, to be fair, because we'll all integrate as a community. I know a lot of people in Portishead, but I don't necessarily what they do business wise. And there's not that sort of mechanism to sort of even start that conversation. So that's entirely, exactly what this sort of, activity is about, to be fair. And it's a problem that we've noticed. And the irony is that's exactly why we do these interviews. So when we're all grounded, then what do you do in Portishead? And obviously going to the pub, because I now know that you do that.
Well, it's got to be done, hasn't it?
Of
we have
course.
a big community of pubs in and around Portishead. It's fabulous, and all walking distance from me. I live near the marina.
Yeah.
Well, I do well at the moment. It's just walking the dogs, isn't it? We've got to stay safe and stay 2 meters apart from everybody, but on that walk around the marina, I think some people don't know what 2 meters is. I'm avoiding those like the plague. But one of the things I do get involved with, and I mentioned earlier as a previous military guy, the Royal British Legion has a branch in Portishead. Not a lot of people know that.
No, quite. I didn't know that.
It's been, well, this year, so 2021, the Royal British Legion is 100 years old. Worldwide.
Wow.
The branch in Portishead is 100 years old. So some British Legion branches may have only started up 10 years ago, but the one in Portishead started in 1921, 4th of August.
Obviously one of the oldest, got to be one of the...
It has. I think it's single figures for the amount of branches there are worldwide, and obviously a lot in the UK. It's got to be in single figures of one of the founder branches. We are struggling for members because I think a lot of people don't associate the poppy with the Royal British Legion. So everybody went poppy, but if surveys were done, people say, do you know the organisation that brings you those? Well, it's the poppy people, isn't it? Well, it's Royal British Legion. Oh, we didn't know that. I was the newly elected chairman of the British Legion locally last year. And so one of my drives is to increase membership and awareness of the British Legion. A lot of you may have seen on Remembrance Sunday, there's been a parade happening in the High Street. Didn't happen last year for obvious reasons, but that parade's been running for 64 years. Every Sunday, so the Portishead Town Band are involved. It was a pleasure. It really was to be the parade commander when we had the 100-year anniversary.
Oh, I do remember that.
World Wars. So 2018, and rough estimates, we had 450 people in the parade and 6,000 people watching it. How nice. Yeah. A good mark of remembrance. So this year we want to do something to commemorate and celebrate the 100 years of the British Legion, but at the moment, of course, we can't make firm plans because who knows what's going to happen. But there's talk, can we get the Royal Marines band down? Can they come and play at the summer show? Who knows if the summer show is going to go on, the former flower show. I'd love to do an evening dinner, military style dinner.
Amazing, yeah, that's
but let's see. So yeah, please track down the Royal British Legion. It'd be a pleasure to have come involved. It's a very expensive membership.
Yeah, I will do. And do you know what? It's probably a conversation.
£17.50 a year, Luke. You ready? That's a lot of money.
£17.50.
£17.50 a year to belong to the British Legion.
I don't know how. Yeah, people might struggle with it, to be fair, mate. But do you know what? At the same time, though, it's probably a conversation for another time. But I'm sure the chamber could help sort of get some coverage. Obviously, it's getting some now, but I'm sure we could do more there. So,
thank you. Thank you.
But do you know what? It's been great to find out a little bit more about you. What an interesting bit of past, especially with the British Legion, which I think will, you know, it's amazing to get that feedback back to find that people don't put the two together, but clearly shows that we could do something to help there. But thanks for coming along today. If anyone else who's viewing this would obviously like to be a part of the chamber, then it's a even more expensive. It's £45 for the year, and this is just one of the things that we would obviously be able to do to help you guys. So Berkeley, brilliant, thanks a lot for that. Speak to you soon.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.